Welcome back, guys. Let's wait. Others will join and then we'll begin our class. Okay. Okay, so now let's begin. The constitutional provisions with respect to citizenship. So we have seen so far the various aspects of terms that are commonly used in citizenship. Terms like a citizen, a migrant, illegal migrant, legal migrant, refugee, aliens, enemy aliens, friendly aliens, so on and so forth. Now, what are these constitutional provisions? First up is Article 5. Now, all the provisions you will see now, these are provisions at the commencement of the constitution. So keep this in mind. Citizenship at the commencement of the constitution. Meaning, for example, this is Article 5. This article says that every person who has domicile in the territory of India, domicile meaning who is living in India, and who was born in India, or whose parents were born in India, or who has been residing in the territory of India for not less than 5 years, immediately preceding such commencement. What commencement? Commencement of the constitution. Yeah, what is the date of commencement of the constitution? That date is 26th of January 1950. This is a date of commencement of our constitution. Anyway, so these people on that date will be called citizens of India. You see, the point is who is going to be an Indian citizen in 1950, not right now, in 1950. Second, this is Article 6, both of them. Article 6. Persons who migrated to India from Pakistan. So after the partition, all those people who came from Pakistan to India, both the sides, right? These people who have come to India and are living in India till 26th of January 1950 will be called Indian citizens. persons who migrated to India from Pakistan before this date has no historical significance. It is just a date when an ordinance was promulgated. So before this date, if you come to India from Pakistan, you simply can enter and you'll be an Indian citizen. But if you come after this date, right, you have to get yourself registered as a citizen with some officer of the government of India. So an office will be set up where you have to come and get yourself registered that I have come from Pakistan, and that's it. And then you'll be given a citizenship. So before this date, free entry. After this date, till 26th of January, your entry is curtailed subject to the government allowing you entry and giving you citizenship. Next, this is Article 7. This is Article 8. Article 7 says all those people who went to Pakistan then came back to India. So when the partition was announced, a lot of people went to Pakistan, right? That okay, let's go to Pakistan. But later on, when they went to Pakistan, they said, oh, huge mistake, let's go back to India only. And they came back to India. So for those people who went from India to Pakistan and then came back, for these people, they were given a permit for resettlement. Without the permit, they were not allowed to come back. So for anyone who is directly coming from Pakistan, no problem. But if you have gone to Pakistan from India and then trying to come back, you have to get an extra permit for resettlement. Then Article 8, classic example of jus sanguinis. Any person who or either of whose parents or any of whose grandparents was born in India, at the commencement of the constitution, you will be an Indian citizen. Then Article 9 said that if any person voluntarily acquired any foreign country's citizenship, he or she would not be called an Indian citizen. Okay, this is Article 9. Then Article 11 is a very important one. See, Article 10 is a very simple article. It simply says any person once the person becomes an Indian citizen, they will continue to be an Indian citizen till the parliament makes a law. So once you're an Indian citizen, you can continue to be an Indian citizen until and unless law is made to take away your citizenship. Lastly, this article also clarifies what Ambedkar wanted to say. So this is what Ambedkar wanted to say. He said that it is not the objective of this particular article to lay down a permanent law of citizenship for the country. The business of laying down permanent law of citizenship has been left to the parliament. So parliament should make laws on how to acquire and how to lose citizenship. So this is Article 11, very important. It says parliament can make laws with respect to acquiring citizenship and also terminating, ending citizenship. And because Article 11 says so, we already have a law in the country that is called the Citizenship Act 1955. This law has been amended 9 times, and we have had 8 CAAs. The one which was under a lot of debate and controversy was the 9th one, the CAA 2019. We'll discuss that also, but let us first see how the provisions of the Citizenship Act allow people to become citizens. Yes, Sushri, will come to that. Patience. We are just about to enter those provisions. So if you see the provisions, you won't be feeling the need to ask any question because I'll just address that through the law. So as of now, till 1950, who was to be called a citizen? The Constitution will tell us. After 1950, how do we get citizenship? For that, Parliament has made a law called Citizenship Act 1955. Now, this law contains these provisions through which you can acquire Indian citizenship. These are various sections. Sections under Citizenship Act 1955. This one, Section 3, Section 4, 5, 6, 7. Sections not important. By birth. Section 3 says, if you are born in India till 1987 only. After that, it was no longer there. Change has been made. If you are born in India on Indian soil, you would become an Indian citizen. After 1987, if you are born in India and if you are born on Indian soil, there is a condition. The condition is that you, either of your parents, have to be Indian citizens at the time of birth. Either of the parents. And there also is a condition that if you are born after 2004, okay, some of you I'm sure must be born after 2004. Those people, for you, both your parents have to be citizens, or any parent has to be Indian citizen, and other should not be an illegal migrant. They can be legal migrant, no problem. Foreigners, no problem, but they should not be an illegal migrant. So if you are born in India, your one parent can be a citizen, the other can be a foreigner, no problem. Okay, that is there. This is by birth. Now, coming to the second element of it. Second element is very simple. This is by descent. So all of you here who will go to some foreign country, right, and fall in love, marry there, possible, right? Love can happen at any point of time. So when you go to a foreign country and fall in love as an IFS officer, firstly, please understand, if you want to marry any foreigner as an officer there, you have to get government's permission. Okay? Don't directly jump and marry. Control your emotions. It is important, it is mentioned in the service rules that when you want to marry a foreigner, you need government's permission. Look at this situation right now in your life. Right now, to marry somebody, you need your parents' permission. But in future, to marry a foreigner, you would need the president's permission. Elevation of status. That's the motivation for today to clear UPSC. To elevate your status, clear UPSC. Anyway, so coming to this by descent, this is meant for people born outside India to Indian parents. Then by descent. Okay. So when let's say you go to some foreign country, say Norway, Iceland, these Nordic countries, Sweden, etc. Then if your kid is born there, till he or she turns 18, you can get your kid an Indian citizenship status. After turning 18, if the country allows citizenship by birth, then the kid can choose that particular country's citizenship also. But the condition is that that country should allow for such kind of citizenship. Okay. Of course, if your kid is born in Norway, you would want to have their citizenship of Norway only. But if your kid is born in, say, Pakistan, Syria, then of course you'd want Indian citizenship only. So it all depends. That's there. Now, section 5 and 6 are meant for foreigners. These two sections, they are meant for foreigners. Foreigners meaning two kinds of foreigners. One kind is a foreigner who has a bond with an Indian citizen. Let's say you are an Indian citizen right now some foreigner comes to India and gets married to you. Possible. Don't lose hope. There is always hope in life, right? You see all these news that some person met somebody on Facebook, Instagram, right? And with their cringy and cheesy statements made them fall in love, and the person comes from all along and gets married. Recently, we had a case of somebody from Bangladesh who swam to India to get married. Now, if you marry any foreigner, of course, you would want them to get the Indian citizenship. They also may want it. So, for them, registration is the procedure. This is registration. This is meant for those who have a bond with an Indian citizen. Bond with Indian citizen. That bond could be marriage. That bond could be ancestry, etc. Classic example is Sonia Gandhi. So Sonia Gandhi obtained the citizenship by registration. She was a foreigner, married an Indian citizen, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, the late former Indian Prime Minister, and is now an Indian citizen through registration. But there are some people who have no bond with India. Let's say somebody is living in, say, Mexico or Argentina, and is watching some YouTube videos of the amazing street food in India, right? And they get very impressed. They say, oh, India is a place to be. I want to come to India. And they book the ticket, apply for visa, come to India, and now apply for citizenship. For those people, we have naturalization. No bond with Indian citizen. Complete stranger who just fell in love with India. But see, there are some conditions. For example, registration. Let's say you marry a foreigner, he or she comes to India. Now they have to prove their love also, because you know how marriages last in foreign countries. So they have to stay in India for 7 years. So you have to survive the marriage for 7 years before applying for registration. Beyond that, for naturalization, meaning you have no bond to any Indian and you are some foreigner who's come to India and wants to get Indian citizenship, it is not given so easily. You have to stay in India and prove your love for India. So how? So what will be done in this case is that, let's draw a timeline first. This is a timeline. Now, the moment you want to apply for Indian citizenship for naturalization only, first condition is for the last 12 months, you should be continuously living in India for the last 12 months continuously. In India continuously. And in the previous 14 years, 11 out of 14 years living in India, which makes the total to how much? 11 plus 1, 12 years. So, in case you want to apply for Indian citizenship by naturalization, you have to stay in India for 12 years. It's not a joke, right? So, prove that you are worthy of staying in India. So, 12 years. 11 years in the previous 14 years, you can go to your foreign, your home country and all, come back, etc. But in the last 1 year, you should be continuously living in India, and then you become eligible to apply for Indian citizenship. Now, one more thing. These two people are basically foreigners. Yes or no? These are foreigners. So, for foreigners, we have an additional provision. That provision is that please also take an oath of allegiance. Oath of allegiance must be administered. So basically, the oath simply says that I will respect the Indian anthem, national symbols, etc. I'll show my loyalty towards India, and all this basic oath has to be taken. Just to know, like before you uh, embark on an adventure or something of the sorts in life, you take some kind of oath. Same thing, right? So that's there. Lastly, is by and the example of naturalization are these people, like Dalai Lama. Okay. 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, classic example. Or this person, he was a former UK citizen, Adnan Sami. So you won't recognize him. He has lost a lot of weight. So Adnan Sami, very popular singer, now Indian citizen through naturalization. I hope this is clear. Lastly, let us say India tomorrow attacks Pakistan after half an hour or 1 hour or whatever time it takes. We don't know. The country is captured, and now all the people of Pakistan may become Indian citizens. May, not mandatory. By incorporation of territory, that's not mandatory. It is not automatic. Meaning, if we tomorrow capture Pakistan, we can simply say Pakistani citizens, Indian citizens. No, 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 no. You have no right to be an Indian citizen. We have seen your TikTok videos and what nonsense you do in the country. Sorry, that's possible. So, in case India captures any foreign territory, the center, government of India has to issue a notification, and only then can those people become Indian citizens. This is subject to notification by government of India. So government of India will notify, and then those people can become citizens. They cannot become automatically. So it may be possible that you apply for you attack Pakistan. First, we will not attack Pakistan. Pakistan will try to attack us, and then we'll defeat Pakistan. That's the whole story in short. And then we can simply say, sorry, we cannot make Pakistani people as Indian citizens. That is also possible. Okay. So these are ways in which anyone can acquire Indian citizenship. Very, very important. And let me remind you, people under naturalization, registration and all, they don't have any claim that, yes, give me citizenship. I have stayed for 12 years. Come on, give it to me. It is all subject to center. If the government wants, it will. If it does not want, it will not. Are we clear on this? So, firstly by birth, descent, registration, naturalization, and lastly by incorporation of territory. If we attack some country and bring that territory to be a part of India or bring that territory under India, all the people living in that area may become Indian citizens. Okay. I hope these points are clear. Now, there are also ways in which you can lose citizenship. Aniket, oath of allegiance. Oath of allegiance, as I said, was the oath that is undertaken by a foreigner when he or she wants to become an Indian citizen, which showcases that you will respect the national symbols, you will respect the constitution, you'll abide by the constitution, you'll be loyal to the country. Like we have oath of office for ministers, the president's oath, same way for these people also. Oath of allegiance towards India, that I have now my loyalty, allegiance, loyalty towards India. Okay, that's it. Point 7, Sushri. Incorporation of territory. When we capture some foreign land, all the people there can become Indian citizens. Can become Indian citizens if the center issues a government order or a notification. Now coming to loss of citizenship. How can your citizenship end? How can we end your citizenship? See, there are two ways. Number one, renunciation. Number two, termination. You can you can uh, lose your citizenship by renunciation, by termination. Okay. Acha, one more thing, guys. For registration, oath is not mandatory, but for naturalization, it is mandatory. Difference. Okay. For people who are getting citizenship through registration, the oath of allegiance is not mandatory. But if you are getting a citizenship through naturalization, that oath is mandatory. That's a difference. It's not a big deal. You simply stand there in front of the government officer, he reads some line, you read the line, that's it, task is over. So let me write this point in case you forget. Mandatory for naturalization. Okay. Now loss. See, loss is dependent on you. Both renunciation and termination, they are dependent on the individual. Government has no say in that. What is renunciation? I renounce my citizenship. I give up my citizenship. Renounce. Renounce means to give up. These are also sections of the same act, section 8, section 9, section 10. You give up your citizenship. Give it up. Okay. Secondly, is by termination. This is automatic. What is this termination? The moment you, as an Indian citizen, acquire some other country's citizenship, your Indian citizenship gets terminated. On acquiring citizenship of another country. Classic example being the new Mr. Bharat Kumar, Akshay Kumar, who makes all these patriotic movies. I mean, of course, last few of his movies have completely bombed at the box office. So, Mr. Akshay Kumar is a Canadian citizen. He has taken the citizenship of Canada. That is why you won't see his photograph during elections. All the celebs love to post their photographs. He does not post his photograph during voting because he cannot vote. Why? Because he is not an Indian citizen. Only Indian citizens can vote. Now, these two provisions are not applicable if India is at war. If India is at war, government may reject your application also. For example, let's say China attacks India and China says, if we win the war, we'll kill all Indians. You are an Indian. You feel, what if China wins? So you say, to the government, take my Indian citizenship. I don't want Indian citizenship. Or you say, I want to become Chinese citizen only. Possible. At that point of time, your application can be rejected by the government saying, no, no, no. You are an Indian citizen, die with us, don't run away, stay here only. That's possible. But Section 8 and 9 are meant for us. We can give up our citizenship. Is there any way in which government can take away citizenship? Yes, it can. By deprivation. But deprivation is only applicable for naturalization and registration. That's it. It is not applicable for us, people who are citizens by birth or by descent. There is, as of now, no law in the country which can take away our citizenship. There is no law only, right? But for all those people who used to be foreigners and have now become Indian citizens, their citizenship can be taken away. By the government, that is, Government of India. Okay. Now, this deprivation can be done on grounds of, example, if you have obtained citizenship by fraud, maybe you have obtained the Indian citizenship using wrong documents, or you have shown disloyalty towards the constitution, right? So if you have done all these things, your citizenship can be taken away by the government, by the center. Okay. But for us who are born as citizens by birth or descent, there is no law as of now which allows the government to take away our citizenship. As of now, they may make a law in future. Who knows? Maybe they may say, if you criticize the government, we'll take away citizenship. Possible. Anything is possible. With our politicians, anything is possible. Anyway, so this is loss of citizenship. See, there are a lot of celebs in our country who are not Indian citizens. I think Alia Bhatt is not an Indian citizen. I'm not sure about Deepika Padukone, whether she's an Indian citizen or not. Jacqueline Fernandez, Nargis Fakiri, lot of people, Imran Khan, the actor, nephew of Amir Khan, not an Indian citizen. So a lot of these people are not Indian citizens. Anyway, so two things. Number one, acquiring citizenship. Number two, loss of citizenship. These are the provisions. Now, in case somebody says, but sir, I want to know all the details, all the possible details on how to acquire and how to lose citizenship. See, I will tell you that those details are not important because questions are never asked from that. But if you say, no, sir, I want to know because I have this habit of mugging up useless information, feel free. Who is stopping you? Nobody is stopping you. All those details are mentioned at the end of the slide. This, for example, if you are getting Indian citizenship by birth, how to get it? If you are born between this date, then either of your parents must be a citizen of India at the time of your birth. If you are born after this date, then both your parents must be citizens, or one parent is a citizen, other is not an illegal migrant. So these dates, etc., so far they have never been asked in the examination. So it's extremely unlikely that they will ever be asked in such detailed manner. UPSC does not stoop to this level to ask such silly facts. These facts are largely restricted to your one-day examinations like SSC, etc., or your state PCS. Even the state PCS is now improving its quality across the country. Same goes for descent, then for registration, then for naturalization. Now, one more thing. For naturalization, there's a very interesting provision. So, for naturalization, we know very well we have to stay in the country for how many years? 12 years. Out of 15 years, 12 years. One full last 1 year, and before those 14 years, 11 years. But there is a very interesting provision. It says that the central government can remove any condition and can directly make you an Indian citizen if you have given immense and distinguished service to fields of science, philosophy, art, literature, world peace, human progress. So, philosophy, art, literature, any such things. So, if tomorrow J.K. Rowling wants to be an Indian citizen, we can directly make her Indian citizen. If Ronaldo wants to come and play football in India, we can, right? So that's a thing. For elite people, rules can be modified. Get one more reality of the society. There is no equality, right? Nothing is fair. This is how life is. So for other people, 12 years. For people who are distinguished in science, philosophy, art, literature, world peace, or human progress, no need for any such thing, right? And who decides this? Central government decides this. Okay, so that's there. Now, coming back, see, we all know very well that these are the 5 ways to get Indian citizenship. These 5 ways. There is one more way to get Indian citizenship, but that is only for people in Assam. So basically, what happened? If you have covered your IR, of course you have not. So when you study IR, and for those who are repeating this or are old students, you would know. So we had something called the Bangladesh Liberation War, wherein supported by India, of course, uh, and India only. India helped liberate East Pakistan into a separate country called Bangladesh, the Mukti Juddho, and we chopped off a huge part of Pakistan to create a new country for which Pakistan is still very upset and they keep on crying about it. But what can we do? India was not doing anything out of context. The amount of atrocities being committed by the West Pakistani people, not the people, but the political group and the armed forces on East Pakistan, was something beyond what you could skip or ignore, right? Constant atrocities being meted out to those people, imposition of language, culture. So, East Pakistan, that is now Bangladesh, was a Bengali speaking province. West Pakistan is a Urdu and Punjabi speaking province. And even in West Pakistan, which is currently Pakistan, it's Punjab which dominates everything, right? From resources to in politics to businesses, it's all about Punjab. Anyway, so they wanted to dominate and assert their language, etc., forcing people. When you force somebody to learn their language and culture, that is where the limit is crossed. And no autonomy being given to East Pakistan, which caused problems, atrocities, armed forces being used. This was the beauty of Pakistan. They used armed forces on their own people, against their own people, right? What can that country claim in the amount of credibility? Zero. And then some of our great people in our country, like Arundhati Roy, they get up and try to justify the activities done by Pakistan and India. It's shameful. Shameful for our educated elite to justify such activities. Anyway, so the atrocities committed forced people from East Pakistan to flee, refugee, coming to India. So see, when they came to Bengal and all, same culture, same language, difficult to find out. But when they came to Assam, a lot of people came to Assam. There, it was very, very easy for them to be identified because Assamese people have a distinct culture, very distinct from the Bengali culture. It's very different, right? So distinct culture. And Assamese people thought, what is this nonsense? Why are these people being given Indian citizenship and they're coming to India in groups of hundreds and thousands? They will completely subvert our culture, our traditions, etc., and will make us minorities in our own state, in our own area. So a struggle started. And they were especially very angry because, see, after 1971, when Bangladesh has been created, then what is your problem? You stay in your country. See, before 1971, we agree. We are not cruel people, not heartless people. If you want to come to Assam also, no problem. We are okay. But after 1971 also, your country is there. We have given you a country called Bangladesh. Stay there, enjoy. It's your own people, your own government now. But still people used to migrate, or rather illegally migrate. So there was a political struggle going on. Finally, the Indian government and the students union called ASU, All Assam Students Union, which is headquartered at Guwahati University, and the now political party called Assam Gan Parishad, which was at that point of time called All Assam Gan Sangram Parishad. So they signed a pact, an agreement, and based on this agreement, the Citizenship Act was modified and one section 6A was added. Okay. The end result of this agreement was that the government of India said that we will identify all those people who have come to Assam from East Pakistan illegally and we will deport them. Look at the beauty and innocence of our Indian government. They are signing a pact and saying we will identify all those people who are illegal. Lakshmi, who is an illegal migrant? In the very opening slide before the break, I said illegal migrant. Illegal migrants are those people who come to a country without valid documents. They are called illegal migrants. Okay. So look at the innocence of our government. It says, this is the area Assam. We'll find out all those people who are illegal migrants, meaning they have no documents. How did you come to India? From where? No proof. We will send them back. Send them where? Where back? To Bangladesh. Why will Bangladesh accept them? Firstly, Bangladesh has the exact same problem as India. Too many people. If you ask Bangladesh, do you want people? They'll say, no, no, no. Do you want people? We'll send you. So firstly, we are saying that Bangladesh will send it to Bangladesh. Did we consult Bangladesh? Are they on board? Why will they accept? Imagine if today Pakistan passes a law and says we are going to find out all illegal migrants from India and we'll send them to India. Why should we accept them, bhai? The whole point is, what if you are some spy, some agent, right? So there is no guarantee. But how cute was this agreement? Anyway, so this was the agreement. One section 6A was added. By the way, let me clarify. This section 6A is currently in court. There is this case which has been running, Supreme Court being Supreme Court. So this case is the Assam Samlita Mahasangh case of 2012. It's been 11 years and the case is pending in the court. So constitutional validity questioned in Supreme Court. Still pending. Still pending. And I mean, Supreme Court expects others to perform tasks in a timely manner. So this is a situation. But anyway, what is this section 6A? It says, see, Constitution said what? that all those people who come to India from Pakistan before a certain date, that was 26th of January 1950, they will be called Indian citizens. Remember? Article 6. Now, this provision says people who came from East Pakistan before this date, they will become Indian citizens. So you are extending the cutoff date, the cutoff constitutional date, but only for Assam. Mind you, this is only for Assam, not for other parts. Okay. Now, people who come after the 1st of January, but before 24th of March, 24th of March, date of liberation of Bangladesh, they will become Indian citizens after 10 years. Full citizenship after 10 years. But people who have come to Assam after 1971, they will be identified and they will be deported. Deported where? To Bangladesh. Will you take your helicopters, go and throw them and run away from there, or what? How will you deport them? This was Assam Accord. Anyway, government should have tried to find a list of all such people. Did the government take any effort? No. No such list of illegal migrants was found or formed or created by any agency, any authority of government of the state or the government of India. Just signing an agreement does not make sense. But imagine if you make a timetable studying for 12 hours or writing 3 mock answers every day, but you don't write a single answer. What's the point of a timetable? So what's the point of this agreement, this Assam Accord, when you are not willing to take the steps? That's the sad part. And now we are trying to find out a list of all the illegal migrants. What's the point? These people have lived. Let's say somebody was an illegal migrant, 1971. Okay. These people came to India, had kids in India, who may have become Indian citizens by birth, who have always lived in India. And these people have been living in India for the past 50 years. Now you tell them, you are no longer an Indian citizen. Why? Your parent was an illegal migrant. Get lost. Is it justified? On ethical grounds also. And imagine the amount of anguish in a person who is treated like this, that I have never seen Bangladesh. And now you're telling me I'm a person of citizen for Bangladesh? How easy will it be to manipulate such youth? That look at what India is doing to you. Your parents lived in India. You have been living in India for so many years, and now suddenly the government says you're no longer Indian citizen. So these youth can so easily be manipulated into attacking India only, that we are only looking at a new group of terrorists which we will create because of our delayed decision making and also lack of understanding of how international events function. That's a sad part. And even now, the list is not final. Still, work is going on. So all those people who are going to be IS officers, this is going to be in your court in future. So don't worry. Plenty of things are already in your basket before you join the service. All these problems are there, right, staring at you even before you join the service. So a lot of changes at lot of levels are required. Sometimes you have to take tough decisions. Sometimes you have to also take empathetic decisions, right? So you have to have a mixed batch of decision making, wherein you take decisions which are strong and also sometimes with the understanding of human situation and the conditions. Anyway, moving on now. Some terms like OCI. Who is an OCI? Overseas citizen of India. So this is a definition, nothing unique here now. Overseas citizen of India is a foreigner. Let me clarify, foreigner. Somebody who is a foreigner. You will say, sir, the word citizen is mentioned here. I agree. But still, these are foreigners, not Indian citizen. So please, OCI is a foreigner who was an Indian citizen at some point of time, or who may have been eligible to become Indian citizen at some point of time, or who is a child or a grandchild of some Indian citizen at some point of time, but now is a foreigner. All these people are called OCI, overseas citizens of India. Okay. Second term is PIO. Same kind of definition. Persons of Indian origin. Who are they? Again, any foreign national who at any point of time held Indian passport, meaning what? Who at any point of time was an Indian citizen, or whose or either of their parents, grandparents, great grandparents was born in India, right? Or who's a spouse of a citizen of India. These are called PIOs. So, because of overlapping definition, the government said, what is this? The same thing only. So, they merged both these definitions together. So, now we have one common definition called OCI card holder. OCI plus PIO merged in 2015. Okay. Ranjan, can OCI vote in election? Ranjan, you answer this question, please. Right? Can OCI or PIO vote or not? We know very well only Indian citizens can vote. So these people cannot vote, right? They are foreigners. Jay, sir, passport and visa are same. No, no. Passport and visa are two different documents given by two different governments. As I gave I'll give a simple example. Let's say you want to go to which country is your expectation? Say you want to go to Switzerland. Okay. If you want to go to Switzerland, you need an Indian passport to prove to Swiss authorities that you are an Indian citizen. Okay. Secondly, if you want to enter Switzerland and stay there, the government there should allow you. They give you a visa. So passport given by the parent country, visa given by the country where you want to go. Two different documents given by two different countries. OCI, Sushri, OCI and PIO. The definition is mentioned very clearly there. Any person who at some point of time used to be an Indian citizen but is not an Indian citizen now, maybe 1960, right? Your grandfather was an Indian citizen and he went to some USA and settled there. Now, yeah, the entire family is there only, born and brought up, etc. So you can be called an OCI as a mark of respect, some benefit, because we want the our Indians, we want a large association globally of people who have some Indian origin. That will help us in achieving soft power, soft diplomacy, right? So in that situation, you can be called an OCI because your grandparent used to be an Indian citizen, right? That is called an OCI. And as far as OCI or PIO are concerned, those two are not different terms now. It's an old news, 7 years old, 8 years old rather. This has been merged. Now you are called an OCI card holder. Who is an OCI card holder? Anybody who used to be an Indian citizen, who held some Indian passport. Your parents were Indian citizens at some point of time. Your grandparents were Indian citizens, right? So these people are called OCI card holder. In your passport, there's a sticker, U visa sticker, right? And you are given lifetime visa. As I explained before the not before, after the break only, that if you want to come to India, we have to give you what? We have to give you visa, allowing you entry into India. You cannot simply come to India at any point of time. We have to collect information, reason for you coming, how many days stay, all these things. That is why visa is there, a document given by India for those people who want to come to India as foreigners. So OCI card holder, which is OCI or PIO, same thing now because of overlapping definition. Please hear me out. I sometimes get the sense that because this is an online class, you don't really pay attention to the class and you're doing multiple things. It is both derogatory to the person who is teaching and also derogatory to the interests of your parents and yourself towards the examination. So please focus here. No multitasking, right? Clearly, some people are not good at it. So the point here is that OCI and PIO are merged together since 2015 because of common definition. OCI card holders, these are all foreigners. So foreigners, when they want to come to India, need a visa. But we have given an exemption to the OCI card holders. Any person who used to be an Indian citizen at some point of time, or your parents used to be Indian citizens, etc., those people have an exemption that you can come to India any point of time, no problem. For others, you have to apply for visa. Visa can be given through various means possible. Sometimes visa can be given on arrival also. Let's take an example, say of Thailand. You want to go to Thailand, let's say. Now, if you go to Thailand, you need not have applied for a visa. You go to Thailand, land at the airport, go to the office there, counter there, and apply for visa, and you get visa on the spot. Entry into Thailand on the spot. That is called visa on arrival. You say go to Vietnam. In Vietnam, you don't get this opportunity maybe, or you go to say some other country, say USA. There, you have to apply for visa beforehand. Take permission of the US government beforehand only, and then go there and show that I have visa. You only gave this document 10 days back. That's why I have come to USA. That's called a visa, which is not on arrival. Okay, so for OCI card holders, visa is given. Free visa. Come as many times as you want. Come to India, leave India, roam around here and there, full enjoyment. So no need to register yourself with the FRRO. So foreigners who come to India, they need to get registered with the Foreign Regional Registration Officer. We also, if you go to a foreign country, you need to get registered there, that I have come here for how many days, etc. Then they can also buy non-farm property, just like foreigners. They can buy non-farm property. You cannot buy agricultural land. Otherwise, when it comes to financial, economic, and educational matters, they can study in schools, colleges, they can start a business, etc. All the things are the same, like NRIs, no difference. But what they cannot do, what are those things that OCI card holders cannot do? OCI card holders can't, number one, vote. Of course not. Voting is reserved only for whom? Citizens. They cannot hold any constitutional post, because there also what is required? Indian citizenship. And they cannot buy agricultural property. Otherwise, everything else is the same, no difference at all. So that's there with respect to the OCIs. Ajit, sir, the reason for Sonia Gandhi not becoming PM? No. This is not the reason. In our country, there is no provision for any person to hold any post with special citizenship. Like say in USA. In USA, only those people who are born in USA and have lived in USA for at least 14 years, for those people only, they have the right to contest elections. Others don't. But in India, there is no such provision. Sonia Gandhi did not become the prime minister because in which way she knew that she'll be controlling the power. So to silence the opposition, the BJP members and all, she chose not to become the PM. She could have become the PM. No law prevented her from becoming the prime minister. Jay, sir, why agricultural land? Jay, in fact, agricultural land for us also, it's limited. In various states, you cannot purchase agricultural land. Outsiders are not allowed to purchase agricultural land. For Indian citizens also, there's a limitation. Various states allow for this, that you cannot purchase agricultural property. Or in your same state, there could be a limit also, that beyond a certain limit, you cannot have agricultural property. This is basically the land reforms that we had in the 1940s and 50s to ensure equitable distribution of land. Sushri, Sonia Gandhi can be treated as OCI? I gave the example of Sonia Gandhi as an Indian citizen. OCI is a foreigner. Why don't we understand this distinction? Foreigner, not an Indian passport holder. Foreigner, people who live in different country, they are called foreigners. OCIs are basically foreigners, right? Other people who live in our country and hold Indian passport, they are Indian citizens. Sonia Gandhi is an Indian citizen. If you call somebody an OCI, that means he or she is a foreigner. Okay. And if somebody is a foreigner, then they cannot contest elections only. Okay. Now, Sakshi, land is not bought in Jammu and Kashmir till that article 35A. Yes, of course. Even now, there are limitations in purchasing land. That is there for almost, there are a lot of places where you cannot buy land. You can't purchase land in Schedule 6 areas, Schedule 5 areas, inner line permit areas. So there are so many limitations in our country that we cannot purchase land in various places. Okay, proof of citizenship. So what is a proof of citizenship? Supreme Court has clarified this. In the Sarbanand Sonowal case, 2005, in this case, Supreme Court has very clearly said what can and what cannot be a proof of citizenship. So, if you want to establish your citizenship, documents required will be what? Number one, date of birth, place of birth. Number three, name of parents. And number four, their place of birth. Or their citizenship. These are the documents required to prove Indian citizenship. Now, what are the documents required, or what are those documents? Government's notification. So when government was asked, sir, please tell us, ma'am, please tell us, what are those documents that can prove that I'm Indian citizen? Government says, final decision not taken yet. Government has not yet taken a final decision on what are those documents required to become Indian citizen. That's the thing. May include, government says when we take a decision, documents may include driving license, passport. Look at this. passport is given to Indian citizen, right? After so much of effort, it's not easy to get a passport. I mean, now it's way better. 5-10 years back, it was a difficult task. It was a milestone in your life to get a passport. Even now, you go to the passport office, pay some money, tatkal charges, etc. Then some policeman comes for verification. You have to give him sweets also, right? All these things happen, and then you get a passport. And then the government says passport may be a document, voter ID card may be a document. Not right now. In future, maybe. Birth certificate, school leaving certificate, and lastly, Aadhaar. Let me clarify. As of now, Aadhaar is not a proof of citizenship. Currently, not a proof of citizenship. So these are some of the examples of possible documents that can be called as proof of citizenship. So in our country, we are yet to take a decision only. What the hell is happening? The government cannot decide on these things also. Anyway, Rishi Sunak is OCI. Possibly, yes, he is an OCI. Nitesh, sir, Epic. Huh, voter ID card, of course. Voter ID card or the Epic. If I say Epic, some of you may will ask, what is this Epic? So, PAN card is not mentioned by the government as a possible proof of citizenship, though it does contain your date of birth and father's name, but it does not contain place of birth, etc., or the address details. So that is also a possibility. But as of now, PAN card is not mentioned. Shalu, what is DI? I don't know. Ration card not mentioned. Shrikant. As of now, this is the only may include. It can be other documents also in future. As of now, government says examples like this. So that's there. Okay. Now, NPR. What is NPR? See, NPR is basic. Shalu, DL. The very first point is DL. It is mentioned here. Driving license. Anyway. Okay. DL stands for driving license. So the one which you get after paying a bribe, or for those who have won it fair and square by proper learning and then riding, amazing. But sadly in our country, that's what is called white corruption, where people speed money, people pay bribes to get documents like driving license, etc. That's it. How many of you have paid bribe for driving license? Please, let's see. A for yes, B for no. How many of you have paid bribe for driving license? Not the fees and all. Proper bribe. A for yes. Let's see. Oh, that's a. Oh, okay. Somebody says after failing the extremely difficult test. Test is difficult. Some people don't have DL only. Don't worry. Once you clear the examination, you'll get a driver also to take you to all the places. Full enjoyment on governments and taxpayers' money. Waste the money to your heart's content, but perform also. Okay. Now, NPR. So what is this NPR? Result of poll, Anshu, was that almost 45% have taken a bribe, given a bribe, not taken, given a bribe, and remaining 55% have won it fair and square by passing the test. Amazing. So NPR, National Population Register. So basically this is a document. This is a database. All the people living in the country right now. All the people living in the people. I say people, not citizens. People living in the country right now. Those who have been living for the past 6 months or those who plan to live for the next 6 months. So if you are a foreigner who has come on some foreign trip to India and plans to live in India for the next 6, 8, 10 months, your name will also be reserved or placed in the what? In the NPR, National Population Register. We'll finish this topic and take a break. Don't worry. Just 3-4 minutes more. NPR is a register of usual residents. Who are they? Any person living in India for 6 months or planning to live for the next 6 months will be placed in this database. This is now an electronic database. 119 crore entries are already there. Okay, and it includes both citizens and foreigners. Both categories of people are there, citizens and foreigners in the NPR. Who prepares NPR? NPR data is of course prepared by the Registrar General and the Census Commissioner under the Home Ministry. And Citizenship Act section 14A very clearly says that it is mandatory for every usual resident to register in the NPR. It is not optional, it is mandatory for you to have your name in the NPR, National Population Register. Now you may say, sir, but we have census also. You are collecting census data also. What kind of data are you collecting after all? So this is collected. See, government says we are collecting data so that when we want to make schemes for people, we can make better and more targeted schemes. That is why we want your name, father's name, spouse name, date of birth, place of birth. These kind of things are usually a proof of citizenship. Place of birth of parents. Why do you want that for a government scheme? Strange. Educational qualification, a permanent address, relationship to head of household, mother's name, sex, gender, marital status, nationality, duration of stay at the present address, occupation, mother tongue, all these things. Some entries are very strange. Why would you want your parents' place of birth to make some scheme? Very weird. Anyway, now we already have a census. Yes or no? Yes, of course, we have a census which collects data. But the problem with census is that census collects group data. You cannot seek individuals' information under census. Why? Because section 15 of a law called Census Act, law not important, just this small point. There is a law in the country called Census Act 1948. Under this, records of census are not open for inspection. Records of census are not open for inspection. Are we clear? So if the government wants individuals data, then you cannot access that individual's data under census. So government says, see, we want to collect details of every individual which can later be used by various government departments for selection of beneficiaries. So the purpose, how sweet and innocent is a government statement. Selecting beneficiaries. under various schemes, and you're asking details like place of birth of parents and all. Nice. Anyway, this is what is called NPR, National Population Register, which is a register where all the names of all the people who are living in this country right now for the past 6 months or who plan to live for the next 6 months, the name is there. Okay, that is called NPR. Sushri sir, Aadhaar is not the proof of citizenship. No, Sushri, as of now, Aadhaar is not the proof of citizenship. Okay. Nitesh, sir, thank God they did not mention. Okay, of course, they did not mention where your girlfriend and boyfriends are, thankfully. But anyway, okay, let's take a quick break, guys. Small break, 7 minutes. We'll be back at 5:05 because we have a break at 5:40. So small break. Be back at 5:05. Break, please. Okay, let's start. Welcome back, guys. I don't even know how to do cycling. Oh, that's not to worry again. Don't worry, you'll have a driver. Priyanka Courage living in other countries, so she taken OCI restored to the country. I'm not sure. Is Priyanka Chopra still an Indian citizen? I think she is. I'm not really sure on that. So this is personal information. We can't really know such things until unless she says so. Yes, Jay, we can have passport and multiple visas, of course. Permanent resident of India. What is permanent resident of India? There is nothing called permanent resident of India. Kshitij, no problem with the system. If the system works for the welfare of citizens and the system respects the cultural ethos of this country, no problem. At any point of time, if these things are compromised, we should have a problem, right? So the issue with right wingers right now is that they have gone to a very extreme point, which makes no sense. For example, removing Mughal courses or Mughal chapters from textbooks, that's not the right way. I mean, rather, we should have taught both sides of the coins, what Mughals did and the atrocities they committed. Eliminating something from the syllabus is not the solution. We have been brainwashed for so many years by the left wing writers on various topics. Simply removing something, not justified. Left wingers, on the other hand, they are the cause of chaos in this country, wherever you go. So they are a real cause of concern. But sometimes even people who are out to protect the nation's interests may not have an understanding of how to do it. Right? So that is the whole concern. Nothing above the country, also nothing beyond, or nothing should violate the individual's privacy, dignity, and liberty. Balance has to be maintained. Okay. Sushri Akshay is now Canadian, resides in India. Yes, yes, OCI, OCI. No, Anshu, these are policy matters. So we cannot have everything voted upon in the parliament. Policy matters. Yes, Shalu, we have many visas. You can have many visas. Entry to various countries. You can apply for as many visas as possible. No problem. Okay, now coming to NRC. Uh, Let me clarify. As of now, we don't know about the future, but as of now, NRC is meant only for Assam. Let's have this understanding first. This document, like NPR, is for the entire country. NRC is only for citizens. Uh, Secondly, NRC is only for Assam. So, as the name suggests, National Register of Citizens, meaning this is a list of all the Indian citizens who are living in Assam. Only Assam, not other parts of the country. Okay. So basically, in 1951, after the census was prepared, we framed one more census, or rather a register, for all those Indian citizens in Assam, list of all those people. And this was actually a very detailed document because it contained every possible piece of information. I know nothing is visible here. This is just a photo I could get of the original NRC document. But yes, sadly, nothing is visible. But this photo contained the household address, names of people, how many people are there in the household, what is the relationship of each other. So that level, that how many in your family, 5 people, who is the father, who is the mother, name, who is the son, daughter, everything, detail. And it was supposed to be updated every 10 years. But sadly, it was not done. So Basically, NRC is a list of all the citizens in Assam, all the Indian citizens in Assam. Now, NRC updation was required. So no interest was shown by the government. So Supreme Court said, let's update it. Time has come for the updation of NRC. So as far as the NRC updation was concerned, it was done on Supreme Court's order in 2013. So Supreme Court ordered, please update the NRC, right? Names have to be added because this was of 1951. So many people's names have been added. So many people have been born. Some have passed away. Remove those names, add those new names. People who have come to Assam, right? All these things. So it is being done under the Citizenship Act, and it will contain names of all the people who were in the voter list up to 1971, their descendants, etc., who were there in the original NRC, and any of the admissible documents. Meaning, so basically, if you can prove through some land record that you have been living in Assam before 1971, or you have a birth certificate which proves that you were born in Assam, or which proves any kind of document, letter issued by a public authority. Public authority. Okay, so these things. Now, in 2018, this list was published. First draft, meaning a rough list, was published in 2018. I think 30th of July 2018. When this list was published, 40 lakh names were excluded. 40 lakh names were not there in the list, meaning there are 40 lakh people living in Assam whose name was not in the list. Meaning, if you are living in Assam and you are not a citizen, then you are a migrant. If you don't have documents to prove which country you have come from, you are an illegal migrant. 40 lakh illegal migrants after first list. So the government gave this option that you can also apply, go to a foreign tribunal and appeal there. Slip was given. 4 lakh people did not even go to the tribunal because they may have no idea also. A poor person has no idea. Fruit seller, vegetable vendor, no idea. What will he do? He says, okay, some list is happening, let's see. Then second and so-called supplementary list, again published in 2019, with new names were added. Still, lot of names are excluded. And when the final list will be published, final list yet to be published. And anyway, this is already been challenged in Supreme Court, right? Matter in Supreme Court for re-verification. Again, the same, Anshu, yes, it is kept in a family-wise manner, but it is basically a list of all the people there, all the citizens there. Was in 1951 also, yes, meant for Assam only. NRC as of now, so far has been meant only for Assam. Now see, again the same problem is there. Let us assume that after 5 years, say in 2020 or next year only, 2024, this NRC is published. Let's assume. And say 10 lakh people's names are not there in the list. Meaning those 10 lakh people are not Indian citizens. So they are illegal migrants. The point starts after that. What will we do now with these 10 lakh people? What will you do? Because you are saying that illegal migrants are not eligible even to apply for Indian citizenship. Remember, very first point under citizenship, that only legal migrants can apply for Indian citizenship, and illegal migrant is not eligible only to apply for Indian citizenship. So what are we going to do about it? 10 lakh people, 15 lakh, whatever the number is. We'll have to keep them in some kind of, how do you say? I mean, I don't want to use the word, but it seems that we are going to place them in the outskirts of some city, creating some kind of uh, a place where such refugees or illegal migrants are kept, right? And then, if you have such a place, see, again, I'm not saying it is a concentration camp of sorts, but it's a camp only. A camp where illegal migrants will be kept in a country. Again, a group of people who may not enjoy all the rights which they were enjoying till 5 years back, 2 years back, the anguish in their hearts and minds. And we know very well these divisive forces, they look for such situations only to create this kind of animosity against India. And we already have so many issues. And we just don't want to have more issues. But sadly, that's the case. What can we do? So let's see what happens. But so far, there is no final list only. So we need not worry. Our government, and we have full faith in our amazing performance of our bureaucracy and the government, that it is very unlikely that a list will be published in near future. They'll find some way to delay it. But till what time will you delay it? The more you delay it, the larger the number is going to be. Because an illegal migrant's child will also be an illegal migrant, right? That's the case. Anyway, this is the NRC. Solve the question now quickly. Asked last year. So very rare that you get a question from citizenship, but one such question was asked. I'll give you 30 seconds because the question is very easy. Please solve. Anshu, it's 10 years. Okay, a lot of you got this answer correct. There is only one citizenship and one domicile. Of course, one is correct. A citizen by birth only can become the head of the state. Yes or no? Of course not. In our country, there is no such provision. Anybody can be an Indian, can be the president, head of the state, right? The only condition is you have to be a citizen of India by birth, by descent, by naturalization, registration, incorporation of territory, anything. So 2 is wrong. Remove these two. One had to be correct anyway. A foreigner once granted citizenship cannot be deprived of it under any circumstance. Of course they can. People who obtain citizenship through naturalization or even registration, their citizenship can be taken away. Section 10, Citizenship Act 1955. So 3 is wrong. A, 1 only is the right answer. Okay. So that's there with respect to this question. Now moving on to the CAA 2019, which was a cause of concern for a lot of people in the country. I'm sure you have plenty of information on CAA. I'm not really sure what kind of information will I add. Sakshi, what is domicile? I mean, when I was discussing the topic citizenship just before the break, I mentioned this heading only: single citizenship, single domicile. Domicile means place of residence, where you reside. There is a fundamental right which says every citizen has a right to reside in any part of the country. Okay, place of residence. Anyway, coming to CAA 2019. Yes. Famous Shaheen Bagh protests. Now, Shaheen Bagh protests is okay. Neil, famous or infamous is not for us to decide. Anyway, you know the provisions. I'll try to slightly modify and enhance your knowledge on the intricate details of what exactly is a provision. Before that, a small reminder that illegal migrants, people who come to India illegally without any valid document, right? Remember, illegal migrants, those people are prohibited from acquiring Indian citizenship. Are they clear? Illegal migrants cannot obtain, they are not allowed only to apply for Indian citizenship. And if you are found to be an illegal migrant, then you can be arrested, and we'll have to find out which country you belong to, and we'll have to send you back to the parent country with proper proof. So there is a law called Foreigners Act. There is a law called Passport Entry into India Act. Under these laws, any illegal migrant can be both imprisoned or deport, sent back to the parent country. Okay. Now, what's the backdrop of this topic? In September 2015 and then in July also, government said that, see, certain categories of people, right, will now no longer be called illegal migrant. Please hear me out properly. Certain categories of people will not be called illegal migrant. All those people who belong to the religions of Hinduism, Sikhism, Buddhism, Jainism, Zoroastrianism, and Christianity, Parsis. These six people from these six religions and people coming from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan till last year, because it was said in 2015, so till last year, all these people, they will not be given Indian citizenship. We are going to not treat them as illegal migrant. Okay. So basically, we will not imprison them. We will not deport them. I hope this point is clear, that the government said all those people who came from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh till last year and who belong to these six religions, we will not send you to jail and we will not send you back also. Don't worry. Don't cry. Come on. Relax. Calm down. That's what the government said. Again, I'm telling you, nobody got Indian citizenship. Please. Finally, the law was passed in 2019. The law says that those specified class of illegal migrants, meaning people belonging to these religions who are illegal migrants, these six communities who have come from these three countries before 31st of December 2014, they will not be called illegal migrants. This is the crux of this entire discussion here, that will not be treated as illegal migrants. I hope this point is clear. If you are not called an illegal migrant, then you become eligible to apply for Indian citizenship. The moment you are not called an illegal migrant, you get the right to apply for Indian citizenship. So what we have done through this law is we have given these people the right to apply for Indian citizenship. We are not giving anybody Indian citizenship. We are just making some people eligible for Indian citizenship. And once they acquire citizenship in future, let's say, such migrants, whatever case was pending against them, any legal proceedings was there against them for illegal migrant, for them being illegal migrant, all that will be removed and they will be treated as an Indian citizen right from their date of entry into India. Okay, that's there. Now, for these people only, these are all foreigners. These are all foreigners from various countries. We know very well, for foreigners, the procedure to apply for citizenship is naturalization. Okay. Now, for these people, and we also know for naturalization, you have to stay in India for how many years? Total 12 years. So if this is a timeline, 1 year, and this is 14 years. So normally what happens? We have to stay in India for last 1 year, continuous stay, and prior to it, 11 years. But for these people, 5 out of 14 years. That's it. Not 11, 5 only. For the, let's read, for the specified class of illegal migrants, number of years of residency has been relaxed from 11 to 5 years. So now you need to live in India only for 11 years, 5 years. Only for these people. Other foreigners, same law, 12 years. But for these people now, it is 6 years. So total 6 years. This is a provision. Now, apart from this, this act also provides for a very unique provision. We have something called OCI card, right? OCI card is given to people who are OCIs or PIOs, who at some point of time used to be Indian citizen, or their parents used to be Indian citizens, whatever. Definition is mentioned and discussed earlier. Your card can be cancelled by the government. Government has the right to cancel your card if you break any law. Which law? That the government will tell you. If you violate any law notified by the government, yet to be notified. What kind of law? If you come to India and don't wear a helmet and ride the bike, that's also breaking a law. You jump the red signal, that's also breaking a law. Will that amount to cancelling your OCI card only? That's too harsh. So government has to also clarify what kind of laws, if we break, will amount to our OCI card being cancelled. So the slight clarification is required here. That's there. Anyway, beyond that, this benefit of, because CAA is a benefit only, right? CAA provides benefit to certain categories of people, that even if you are an illegal migrant, we will not call you illegal migrant. But this benefit of CAA will not apply to illegal migrants living in certain areas. For example, if you are living in the tribal areas or Schedule 6 areas. We'll discuss Schedule 6 tomorrow. Schedule 6 areas are those areas which are in the what? These areas are certain areas in the northeastern states, the 4 northeastern states, Schedule 6 areas in states of certain districts, Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Tripura. So in certain districts, if you end up there as an illegal migrant, your bad luck, you will still be called an illegal migrant. And number 2, states under inner line permit. What is an inner line permit? So back in the 1870s, 1873 to be exact, Britishers passed a rule that was called the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation, because these areas are on the east of Bengal. So Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation, basically, in these areas, a lot of indigenous and tribal people used to live. So the British government said outsiders will not be allowed direct entry into these areas without permission. Only we can exploit the resource. I mean, that is what was lying meaning of that. But anyway, so this concept was also accepted by the Indian government after independence, and we continued with the same concept, wherein to enter certain states, you need to get the permission from the local authority or the state government there. For example, states like Arunachal, okay, states like Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur. To enter these areas, you require a permit. Okay, that is why they are called inner line permit areas. Permit is required, permission is required. This is basically to prevent settlement of outsiders in order to protect the indigenous and tribal people of these areas. So we have these inner line permit areas. So if you are found living in these states also, sorry, no benefit of CAA goes to you. This is a situation. This is the law, that is a CAA. That's it. Done with the law. Now, of course, the issue. So at one, on one hand, a lot of people say India wants CAA. That's what we want. On the other hand, people are saying we oppose CAA. That's wrong. It's completely absurd. Now, who is right? That's a big question. See, are you aware of this meme? Very popular meme. It became very popular in, of course, 2020, because this was Amit Shah's statement in a press conference. Now, firstly, we'll discuss I'll explain the meaning of this meme later on. But firstly, the issues. So, of course, there is an Article 14, you would know, a very generic article. Article 14 talks about equality, right to equality, equality before law, and equal protection of laws. So people say this violates Article 14. And let me remind you, the the act is still pending in the Supreme Court. Challenged in Supreme Court. It is still pending. This is the Indian Union Muslim League case. They have filed a petition. See, when it comes to the law being challenged, it is still pending because Supreme Court could not find time only for this. The contention is it violates Article 14. No equality. We are treating people differently based on their country of origin, based on their religion, based on date of entry into India, and based on the place of residence where you are residing. Right? Now the question is, does it violate Article 14, yes or no? Legally, no, it does not. I'll tell you why. This law, see, Article 14 prevents discrimination. But the same Article 14 also allows positive discrimination. Yes or no? Does Article 14 not allow positive discrimination? Don't we have reservation in the country, in education, in other places, right? It does. That doesn't violate Article 14? Of course not. Because Article 14 says that we have to provide for special provisions for certain categories of people. It's okay. We cannot treat everybody equally. Some people will have to be treated differently. Only people placed under similar circumstance should be treated in the same fashion. Don't we have different tax rate for different people? Right? Rich people being taxed at 30%, 33%, surcharge, this and that. Poor people, no tax. They don't go and claim, oh, inequality. Because the purpose is a poor person cannot afford to pay for the food on the table, and rich is wasting money in enjoying life. Of course, we have to tax them more, right? Their disposable income is way more. Nothing wrong in that. Positive discrimination. This CA, tell me, does it prevent anybody's citizenship? Of course not. CA is only providing opportunity to certain people to get citizenship. CAA does not prevent but provides opportunity to apply for citizenship. So basically, this law only makes certain people eligible for citizenship. That's it. It does not take away anybody's, it does not deprive anybody's citizenship. So this law, at least legally, is something that you cannot cancel. It is not unconstitutional, as people are claiming. And but then we have to also understand that the Shaheen Bagh protests, basically in Delhi, was largely or initiated by the Muslims, and was largely the participants were largely Muslims. Why were Indian Muslims protesting against it? I mean, were they worried about the Muslims of Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh? Really? But they were protesting for themselves. Very strange, right? This law does not take away their citizenship. Why was the Indian Muslim protesting? Do you have any idea? Anyone? Forget, see, there could be allegations of protests being right or wrong. That's secondary. Every citizen has a right to protest. It's not, strike may not be a fundamental right, but you have a right to protest. Of course, it should be limited. It should uh, not harass the people, etc. That is basic understanding. But protesting should be allowed, and it is allowed also. But why were Muslims protesting? Tell me. Any reason that anybody knows? Of course, the entire group may not know what was happening, but the ones who were leading the movement, they were protesting for what? Okay, Vipin makes sense. Family members, not really. No, no, no. No, they were not protesting to support the Muslims. At least that's the approach. What happened was Amit Shah made this statement, and I'll help you understand the context of this statement. Amit Shah said, this statement is aap chronology samajhiye. Please understand the chronology of events that I will unfold in front of you. So what he said was, you have something called CAA. CAA is now a law. Yes or no? Yes, of course. Now, our next plan is to make an NPR, National Population Register. We made this. From that NPR, we are now going to extract NRC. What is NRC? For the entire country. What is NRC? As of now, NRC is meant only for people of Assam. But Amit Shah said that now we'll have NRC for the entire country. List of citizens for the entire country. Okay. Now, let us say two cases. There is a Hindu, there is a Muslim. Hindu, let's say a poor Hindu, is unable to prove his citizenship, has no scope. His name is not there in the NRC, excluded. These two people are excluded. Okay. Please understand. If a Hindu is excluded, he still has scope under CAA to apply for citizenship. Yes or no? But if a Muslim is excluded, he cannot apply under CAA. He has no scope to apply for citizenship. And largely for the poor people, see, rich and elite, do you think any rich person, Ambani's, will they be unable to prove their citizenship? Shah Rukh Khan, will he not be able to prove his citizenship? Of course not. The poor will suffer. The poor may not have documents, etc. So a Hindu poor, a Christian poor, a Parsi poor, may still get the benefit of CAA, but a Muslim poor is trapped. He has no such recourse to CAA. He ends up being labeled an illegal migrant. That was a problem, and that was the reason they were protesting. Now, that should have been the reason they should have been protesting. I'm not really sure what people knew in that particular situation. Some of our great thinkers of our times, like Deepika Padukone, Swara Bhaskar, they would debate that, have you seen the provisions of NRC, such draconian? Where is the provision of NRC? It was just a plan by the government to have these things in place. But later on, the Prime Minister himself said in a public rally in Delhi that the government has no plan to bring NRC for the entire country. Now, if there is no plan to bring NRC, I don't see any reason for any group or community to protest against CAA. No reason whatsoever. You may say, sir, could we not have included Muslims of Myanmar, Tamilians of Sri Lanka, right? Could we not have included atheists who are harassed in Pakistan, right? The Ahmadiyas who are being forced to run away, the Shias in Pakistan. I mean, the army chief, if they are a Shia, it's very difficult to be an army chief, right? The whole point was that, yes, if you look at that, the theme of this law is slightly anti-secular. It excludes religions. But the point is that, I mean, we do want to incorporate citizenship for various people who are suffering, but to what extent? There has to be a limit. So a government can only extend benefits based on the money the government has. So the challenge can also be thwarted with this response that, see, we don't have resources to open our arms for everybody. We don't have resources to support the Xinjiang province Uyghur Muslims in China. We don't. Maybe in future we will, but right now we don't. So that is how it can be responded. And third issue was the OCI cancellation ground was very vague. So of course, Supreme Court has also asked the government to make guidelines on this, and it will be done. So at least on paper, this law legally is not wrong, though the government's intentions can be questioned. And yes, they should be questioned because so far they have not even made the rules to implement the law properly. The law is still not implementable. Rules have not been made. It's been 4 years now. And if you ask the Home Minister, he says, because because the COVID is there. For election, there is no COVID. For campaign, there is no COVID. But for people who are suffering, who have escaped the brutalities in Pakistan, there is COVID. We have seen or heard horrific stories of people being harassed in Pakistan who had to escape. Just to tell you, a small point here. There was a fruit vendor who told his story, which became caught the attention of media as well. That he had escaped from Pakistan, was an illegal migrant, and he was living in Delhi. He was not a rich person, but back in his village in Pakistan, he had a decent land holding and had a family. And the village goons, who were from the majority community in Pakistan, they raped his wife and forced her into bearing the child, not once, but 4 to 5 times. And this man was not allowed to even abort the kid of the wife. And now he had 5 kids, none of them were his own. He then escaped with his wife and kids to India. This is the amount of atrocity we are referring to when we refer to these people who have come to India, right? So of course, they are suffering, definitely. So it goes without saying that if our government is extending a helping hand, it is in the right direction. But you have not made rules also for this. So now comes a point where we think that were you actually helping people, or was your agenda only to create this kind of divide in the country, Hindu Muslim? Because if your agenda was to truly help these people, then you would have made a law and also rules immediately to implement the law. That's where the government has faltered, right? Anyway, so these discussions can keep on happening, but this is the current legal premise. Largely, it is very difficult to question this law on legal grounds. Yes, the underlying sentiment can be questioned, but who knows what goes on in the hearts of ministers? That is beyond the legal recourse. That's all. As far as the issues are concerned with respect to CAA, and till this matter is pending in the court. Why Muslims not get registration through CAA? Because Muslims have been excluded. Because the three countries which are included in CAA, those three countries are countries where they follow Islam as a state religion, right? That is why Muslims have been excluded. These are Islamic countries. Okay, like say if tomorrow India becomes a Hindu country, then India will be called a Hindu country, which is extremely unlikely and should not be done also. No need for that. So these are Islamic countries. So we largely believe that Muslims are not facing some problems, though certain categories of Muslims are facing problems. That is there. So like Shias in Pakistan, but then the same Shias also harass the Sunnis in Iran. So it's vice versa. Okay, so I believe that is all. Let's take a break of 20 minutes. And once we are back, we'll take up your questions also, and we'll discuss further the remaining topics with respect to the next topic being the union territories. So that is going to be all. Break, please. Be back at what time? 6, 7 or 6:10. Full enjoyment. We will not have any break at 7 then. 6:10. Be back. Break till 6:10 p.m. Break, please, guys.